totally jacked to the highest jackticity. I want to encourage you guys to take out pen and paper. This is our weekly locker room talk. And when I say locker room talk, it's a time for us to come together from around the world. And to all the newest members, hey, welcome to the community. Welcome to the global family, if you will. This is where we come together and we get down to the nitty gritty. There's nothing pretentious here, and charge everything that's said in the locker room talk to our head and not our hearts. The intention here is to make sure that all of our global community members are successful in their crowdfunding endeavors. Whatever it is that you signed up for, our goal and our whole mission and purpose for doing this is to ensure your success, but you have to participate in your own rescue. And you guys are going to get some outstanding nuggets today. You want to talk about clarity? Each and every one of you, there's going to be no more excuses. We're wiping the slate clean. You're going to walk away from today's locker room talk, and this is the intention of today, with a clear understanding of the power of CoopCrowd and what David T. Rosen has put in place for each and every one of us around the world. So all excuses are equal after today's locker room talk. It's one team, one dream. And so please take copious notes. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys before I introduce our trainer for today is because I've been involved in marketing for a lot of years. And you guys hear me say I'm over the moon excited. And those aren't just flowery words. They're rooted in sincere, it's literal in terms of why I say that, because out of everything I've been associated with, and I've turned over a lot of rocks over my years, trust me, I have, always searching for ways to become free. And, you know, I've been blessed to have a lifestyle that I've set up, even independent of crowd, that I can wake up when I get through sleeping. And that's not bragging or anything like that. But I always wanted to be a part of something where I can help the mass majority of people on my team that I've been associated with win as well long term. And we found it with the co-op community and CoopCrowd and what David T. Rosen has put in place. So it's my mission, along with all the leaders, to make sure you guys understand what we have our hands on today. And so when I talk about being over the moon excited, I'm talking about the fact that for many of you, this is the last mile. It doesn't matter what you've been associated with in the past, your past failures or successes. As John C. Maxwell says, that's just fertilizer for your success. It's a continuum. And when I look at CoopCrowd, and for many of you, this is the last mile for each and every one of you. And you want to finish this thing strong as all outdoors, because this thing is the real deal. Holyfield's the hottest thing smoking. But I just want you guys to understand that the gates of freedom have been open. And I've shared this before on some of my trainings when I talk about that movie Instinct, when there was a mountain gorilla in a cage and the doors were swung wide open and he didn't run for freedom. And it was because his will had been broken. And that's why he didn't do it. And I know some of you have bad experiences in the past. Maybe you've been in some pump and dumps. Maybe there's been some owners that took the money and run. Maybe you didn't have, the kind of success that you had hoped for whatever the reasons are. And now your will has been broken to a point. But I'm here to encourage each and every one of you. And what Alan Delaney is going to share with you guys today is that the gates of freedom have been opened for each and every one of us. I'm here to tell you guys what I know, but you got to really deal with your will and understand that. Take everything you've experienced in the past, burn that ship, and go full board and run through the gates of freedom. Because when I tell you we have all green lights, we really, really do. And so when you look at your evolution as an entrepreneur and you've done different things in the past, a lot of times we tend to fragment things. Well, this didn't work, so why would this work? Why would it be any different? And what I want you to understand is that it's all unified. And what I mean by that is when you look at a map of the world, you see different continents and there's this illusion of separation. But if you look deeper under the water and you actually remove the water, it's all connected as one uniform entity. It's just mountains that we live on top of in every continent. So I'm sharing that with each and every one of you to help you understand that CoopCrowd is the best thing on the face of the planet for the masses. And I'm not saying that because, I'm supposed to say it. I'm not the hype guy here, all right? I'm a very practical guy that has a sincere heart to help as many people as humanly possible. And so does David T. Rosen and all the leaders that you're going to be hearing from here today. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to someone that I have a tremendous amount of respect for. He's going to break down some numbers for each and every one of you to help you understand what CoopCrowd is all about. You know, you meet a lot of people in this industry, and we've been chopping it up over the last week or so. He's been a part of the leadership team, and we know some of the same people, some great leaders in the industry. And he's becoming a brother from another mother for me as well. Has a very, very smart mind, been in the industry a lot of years, been married for 32 years, runs a successful business as well. And he's the real deal Holyfield, and he's going to break down these numbers for you guys in a way that by the time you guys are done listening to him, you will have 100% understanding and belief in what CoopCrowd can not only do for you, but anyone that you know and love. And that's the name of the game. So allow me to introduce Alan Delaney. Hey, Alan, take it away, my brother.
You bet, man. Fired up. How lucky are we to get to listen to Greg, right? If I'm in a down mood and I hear Greg going after it, man, it just fires me up because he's passionate. And that's what it is, right? Like he said, there's no hype here. It's just passion, and passion is exciting, and passion catches on. And, you know, here's the thing. I'm going to share with you today a tool that I developed because my brain just has to have numbers. And I noticed that there was a trend in some of the leadership calls and things like that, that people really, for one reason or another, nobody's fault, nobody's anything, really didn't get the numbers. I was one of those people. So I wanted to get those numbers. So Greg, myself, David T. Rosen, we've all kind of worked together to develop this tool. My old nickname used to be Spreadsheet when I was a software developer, so I can write them. And I've written one here today that hopefully breaks down the numbers for everybody. This is an important visual that I'm going to be sharing with you so that you completely understand how this works. And I promise you this, when I started doing this and I got a full understanding of what this was, I mean, literally, I don't think I've been asleep since freaking Thursday. It's been insane. So hopefully this will have the same impact on you. And let me share my screen here, make sure I share the right one. Yeah. And I'm going to need someone to chime in just to let me know that they are actually seeing a spreadsheet on here.
You got
it. Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to take a little bit of time and explain because there's a whole bunch of numbers on here and I don't want anybody to get confused because most of it is just repetitive. Although when you look at it at first, it can look kind of confusing. So I don't want that to be the case. So I'm going to explain everything that there is here. First of all, remember that we have 13 donation periods. We don't get paid by the month. We don't realize our donations by the month. We realize our donations every single day. That's what's exciting. I didn't quite understand that. I don't know for whatever reason, but we do get our donations every single day. So there's 13 periods of 28 days, which equals a year. So there's not 12 periods. It isn't monthly. And we all know it isn't commission. It is donations, right? 100% of the donations that come in on any of the matrices we have, whether you're talking about Crowd 84, Crowd 250, or its predecessor, is 100% of it goes out to the participants. And I love that. It's one of the reasons that I'm here. So all of these amounts are for illustration purposes only. This is a tool, right? This isn't to say this is what you're going to earn, but this is to say how it works. So the amounts are for illustration purposes only. And they assume, this spreadsheet assumes that you're a person that's on this call. You're going to be a person that gets 3 people. And there you're going to pay that forward and help those 3 people get 3 people. So having said that, let me kind of get into what we have here. And we'll start with this very first row. This is what's possible in every single row in your 3x10, right? Everybody's got a 3x10. Your first row, and these are the levels, or I should call them levels. Okay, your first level is capable of 3 people. Now everybody gets 3. The math is simple. 3 becomes 9, becomes 27, becomes 81. We've seen these numbers before for a grand total on your 10th level, all right, of 59,000 people. All right, so I want you to understand that much to start with. The next row here is the number of paid donors. In other words, active paid up donors in each of those rows. So we know you're going to put in 3 personals, right? So you're going to have 3 and you're going to help those 3 get their 3 because why? Because that's what unlocks everything that the matrix has to offer in the way of donations for you to be able to build the wealth that we're all here to build, right? These are constants. All right. I just want to make sure that I point that out. So let's just kind of go across the row here so that you can understand it. Now, everything in green, all these numbers have to do with if you personally introduce somebody as a donor. Okay, that's a personal donor. All the orange is if they just show up. And that's the wonderful thing about a 3x10. A 3x10 builds out. If you guys go to the tool that David created, which is fantastic, right? And we look in our CoopCrowd back office and you look at your co-op free team, you'll see names in there of people you don't know. Why? Because you don't know them. They might be 5 levels deep, 6 levels deep, 8 levels deep. You don't know who these people are, right? You know who your own are, but you did not have much of anything to do with people just showing up in your 3x10. This is where this thing gets really excited, and that's what these numbers represent. So let's talk about this, okay? Understand that no matter what row you're on, when you personally introduce somebody to CoopCrowd as a donor and they become an active donor, you are going to receive 25% of $25. What is that? Okay, this is the personal area. That's $6.25. Doesn't matter if they're on row 1, row 10, or 5 or 8, right? You're getting 25% of the donation. Remember, the donation's $25. The $3 is a hosting fee, administrative fee, and that sort of thing. All right, so here we go. You get the $6.25 no matter where you put somebody in. That's 25%. Hopefully that makes sense. Your rows pay out this way. Your first row pays 10% additionally on top of 25%, 5%, 5%, 5%. You can see the numbers. I'm not going to go through each one of them. Once you understand row 1 and 2, the rest of it just will fall into place. So that's why I'm taking my time here. So what is 10% of $25? Well, it's $2.50. What's 5% of $25? It's $1.25. So when we add $6.25 and $2.50 together, what are you getting for somebody on row 1 that you personally introduced? You're getting $8.75. When does that money hit your wallet? Okay, after September 1st, the moment they go in. So your first of 13, all right, make sure you understand this. Your first of 13 donations that go into your wallet happens the moment that they join. So $8.75 hit your wallet. Now, I do want to make something very, very clear. The way to calculate the bonus level for 3 to get 3 is so highly complicated, it's outside the ability of a spreadsheet. So these numbers that I'm sharing with you today don't include the last 25%. You're going to be so fired up after this that you're going to forget about that 25%. But the reality of it is after my conversations with David, what you're going to see here as a final number is going to be 1 to 6 times greater than I'm actually able to show you, depending on many, many factors and that come into play for that last 25%, right? But I assure you, if you're a person who's put your nose down to the grindstone, right, and you've gotten 3 and you've helped those 3 get 3, you will get paid that way. All right, so here's how this works. This person that you introduced who stays active for a year becomes worth $113.75 in donations to you over those 13 periods, which is a year, okay? And it starts from the day that they start, year later, right? Understand, this is why I said earlier, when the donations hit your wallet, okay, it's a year from that point. That's how you get paid every day. Now, let's just say somebody just shows up on your row 1, okay, because you didn't get busy with it, as David likes to say. Okay, the only thing you're going to receive in that case is 10% of $25. You didn't personally sponsor them, right? So you get the $250. Okay, now the $250 is what you're going to receive as a residual donation in that case. So that's how that works. So if we go over here, and we've seen this number before, $26, it's actually $26.25. Okay, if you personally sponsored this person, all right, which is going to be the $8.75, and at $8.75 times the $26.25 times the 13 pay periods, that person those 3 people become worth $341.25 to you. Okay, now if we go down to row 2, this row assumes that you are not sponsoring any of these people. Look. What I'm trying to do here is to show you the bare minimum effort. Now there's players on this call, right? I know people are going to sponsor 50 people, 100 people, you know, how many ever they're going to sponsor. And these numbers will be, this is the minimum that I'm going to try to illustrate here. But let's just say you're 3, you got 3, and now you help your people get 3. Okay. So you're not going to get any of this money. It all becomes this money. Okay. So that's $1.25. That's $11.25. On this road. 9 times $1.25 is $11.25. Annually, that's $146. Okay, and I know there's going to be questions here, but that's the math. Now, this row, again, is what's possible. Now, let's talk about what we've all heard our entire lives, okay? Not everything we hear our entire lives is good, but this will be something you can relate to. Who knows here the 80-20 rule? How many times have we heard that 20% of the people do 80% of the work, right? Or 100% of the work, right? The 80-20 rule, we all know it. So let's just say, for an example, this is how this works, all right? We pull this down and we say, okay, the 80-20 rule, and we put a 20% in there. What just happened? Here's what happened. These are constant. Remember, you sponsored 3, that's going to stay the same. You help them get their 3, that's going to stay the same. But let's say that you're only able to be effective at a 20% level, okay? That means that 20% of 27 is only 5 people on your row 3. I bet almost everybody on this call has more people than 5 on their row 3. That means that on your row 4, your level 4, you're only going to see 16 people. Level 5, 49 people. Level 6, 146. Okay, you get the idea. By the time it gets down to here, it's a substantial number, right? But only being 20% effective, this is what it looks like. Guys, here's what I mean to tell you. Look in just the dollar a day matrix. That is a monthly residual income of $28,443.74. I didn't understand it that way. Your annual residual with this is $369,768. It's sick how much this is. Now, here's the thing that doesn't include for people that go to work, and this assumes that everybody goes to work, 3 that get 3, right? These numbers are 1 to 6 times more than that. And David's on this call. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what I understood him to say yesterday in our call. And I can't tell you what that's going to be because there are factors involved. Now, here's the thing to understand. Once you're qualified this way, that bonus isn't a once a month thing. It will change this 875, so to speak, could be 1275, might be something different. There's so many factors involved. How many personals, how big your matrix is, how big what your lead, there's just a lot of things involved that will affect that number. But this doesn't include the last 25% bonus that you're qualified for if you're 3 to get 3. Now, guys, I can't begin to tell you how this is crazy, right? Now, know this. This is only the 84 matrix. Now, I'm going to slide my screen sideways, okay? And I know that on Zooms that can get kind of hanky, so I'm going to kind of go slow, and I'm going to show you what happens in the numbers are just astronomical. Okay, now, as you can see here, if 100% of the people, I call this the upgrade lag because there will be some, but if 100% of the people were upgraded, then this number matches the number in the 84, right? Let's say, and we know that's not going to be the case all the time. Can you guys get your head wrapped around numbers like this? The 84 matrix is paying you 28 grand, 10x. We've always said that all the way along. Greg has always made that a great point. So is David. 10x the money. Are you kidding me right now? A residual income of $312,000 a month? It's just the numbers are psychotic. But let's do this. I added this since I talked to David. I call it the upgrade lag. All right, because here's the reality of it. We know that we're always going to have more money since a lot of people are going to start in the 84 before they get to the 250, right? So let's just say we're running behind in the upgrades. People haven't made enough to upgrade out of that one yet, or they didn't come in with both legs, with both matrices and things like that. So let's just drop this number to 20%. Again, the 80-20 rule. And we're running 80% behind. So now look at what happens. Okay, we've got this many because of the 80-20 rule in our 84, and only 20% of those have made it to the upgrade stage at this point, right? So that's 20% of that number. It's still insane. 85 grand a month is nuts. This is how the numbers work. It does not include the last 25% for those of us who are qualified, right? And look, if I can get qualified, I'm just an old construction dog, right? I'm nobody special. Trust me when I tell you that, all right? I understand numbers, happy to do things like this, but you know, I just go out and have conversations. And I know there's some people on this call that are 10 times more talented than I am at building teams for sure, all right? Everybody has the ability to get 3. I got 3 in a day. And again, nobody's special. All right. And then I help them get their 3. Everybody's qualified, right? That is so very important. But let's just make this stupid ridiculous. All right. Let's say that it is an 80-20. Let's just say that you know, you're having a difficult time for whatever reason, it's not working out. I'm going to take this down to the levels of just absolute absurdity. Let's say that you're only 5% effective. Okay, look at these numbers. They're hardly anything in a 3x10. Your monthly residual, even if you're only 5% effective, is 71.39 in the 84. Now remember, we're still running a 20% lag. Got it? So this is a 20% lag. Only 20% of the 100% of people over here have upgraded. And that adds another 14 G's a month at 5% effectiveness. This is just mind-blowing to me. All right. You're still making 21 grand a month, and it still does not reflect the 25% bonus. It can be 1 to 6 times better than that, depending upon the structure of your matrix. All right. So psycho, right? Let's go and make it. For whatever reason, you can't even get it done, right? And there's nobody on this call like this, but let's say that it ends up like this. We change that to 1%. You're still making $1,400 a month. I talked to a friend of mine this morning who lives out in the country. She's on my team. She has some struggles. She has some health struggles, a beautiful gal. I know that $1,457 a month with minimal effort changes the structure of things for her. It is amazing. An additional $18,951 a year. Crazy, right? And again, only 20% of that 1% is in an upgrade state. It adds another 3 grand a month. Guys, 1% effectiveness that pays $60,000 a year and doesn't include the bonus because you at least got 3 that got 3. I mean, I don't even know how to, you know, break it down. These numbers are nuts. They are absolutely crazy. So, you know, that's what I got to say about it. I mean, there isn't a whole much more to share than here. This training was very much numbers based. This is a tool that will be available for anybody that wants to run their own scenarios on it. But I want to leave you with this. Okay. Numbers on a spreadsheet are great. All right. To be able to dream about what it looks like, to be able to set yourself a goal, to be able to go after the number that you set, you know, what's your 84, right? Maybe you need a certain amount of money, right? So maybe you need it to be up here around 30%. Okay. Because you think you need, or you do need, you know, $128,000 residual every month, or somewhere near that with a 25% bonus. I start laughing because it's just unfathomable to me to be making that kind of money. Right. But we're going to, you know, so you can play with this, but just putting it on a spreadsheet doesn't get it done. You know it, and I know it. All right. Dreaming about it doesn't get it done. All right. It's like Greg just said, you got to participate in your own rescue. You can run this spreadsheet till you're blue in the face. The numbers are great. They're pretty. They're wonderful. Okay. Until they start hitting your bank account because of the effort you're making to get them in there, they don't mean anything. So don't get stuck in this tool if you happen to get your hands on it, which I'm sure you will. All right. And say, wow, this is fantastic. It's not fantastic till you put it to work. That's all I got.
Wow. That's all I got. Let me tell you guys something. It's time to break up with being broke. You know, we've been working at this for some time. And when I tell you we're attracting the highest caliber of minds across all of the marketing space, I'm telling you guys exactly what I know. It definitely takes one team for the dream. And that's exactly what we have here. And when you really think about that here for a moment, you're talking about, And so in your 84, you cross that threshold, in let's say 33 days or 84 days. And then 3 days later or 7 days later, three more people are crossing the finish line. And then 3 or 7 days after that, three more people. I mean, just think about this, you guys. This is a roadmap like never before seen. And this is what I want to leave you with. And Alan, thank you so much for that, breaking that down. It was so well said. And then I'm going to turn it over to David T. Rosen here in a minute. But someone in our Telegram group put something here, and I just want to leave you guys with this before I turn it over to David Rosen. When we talk about one team and one dream, and the fact that sometimes people get a little bit frustrated here and there, you got to keep your eyes on the prize. Your vision is more important than your knowledge, even though what Alan laid out is all the knowledge in the world. But don't get caught up in just the tool. Let's execute. So I don't know this gentleman's name, but he put this in here, and I want to share with you. And some of you have already read this. When we talk about teamwork makes the dream work, in terms of plugging in on all the overview calls, okay, on all the team training calls as well. Today, we need to make it our business to add one more person to the CoopCrowd today. Contact people in your free matrix and give them a call and say, based on what you saw today, it's time to rock and roll, because September 1st is coming here real soon. Let me just read this to you guys real quick. And this was a story that he shared. He says, a man who regularly attended meetings with his friends without warning stopped participating in their activities. After a few weeks, on a very cold night, a member of the group decided to visit him. He found the man at home alone, sitting in front of a fireplace where a bright and welcoming fire burned. Guessing the reason for the visit, the man welcomed it. There was a great silence. The two men only watched the dance of flames around the logs, firewood crackling in the fireplace. After a few minutes, the visitor, without saying a word, examined the embers that were forming and selected one of them, the most incandescent of all, removing it with a pair of tongs. Then he sat down again. The host was paying attention, and before long, the flame of the solitary embers diminished until there was only a momentary glow, and the fire was suddenly extinguished. Before long, what was a display of light and heat was nothing more than a cold, black, dead piece of coal. Very few words had to be said since the greeting. The visitor, before preparing to leave with the tongs, returned the cold and useless coal, placing it again in the middle of the fire. Immediately, the ember was rekindled, fueled by the light and heat of the burning coals around it. And the host said, "Thank you for your visit and for your beautiful lesson. I will return to the group." And that's what I want you guys to understand about what we have our hands on here. Alan, what you shared was so incredibly important for people to understand. This is a global community. And for those of you that just plug in here and there, I want you guys to understand, stay plugged in, to stay turned on, because you never know when you're going to get nuggets just like this. Brother, I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to now turn it over to our fearless leader, David T. Rosen, someone that needs no introduction. We thank you and we salute you. Take it away.
Great. Thank you very much, Greg. And great job, Alan. Alan first showed me those numbers a couple of days ago. And when he did, it sort of helped to break things down so that people could understand it a little better. Because on these calls, we've been talking about getting three, who get three, and then just talking about the broad-based numbers and coming up with one big number. And when you come up with one big number, that number, even though it is an absolute fact, it can be daunting. It can be confusing. It can seem unreal. So breaking it down and into smaller amounts really helps to show the power of the system. As Alan showed you there, if even only 1% did what they were supposed to do, then you've got something that's creating an income that is greater than what most people are getting right now. And if you break it down to even 10% of what people are doing, it's creating an income for you that you've never heard of before. So I like what he's did there because it broke it down a little smoother. And I think we'll get that presentation down pat so that, you go from one to another and you can really see what that's all doing. Greg also touched on another point just a moment ago. And that other point that Greg just touched on is the fact that, if you invite one more person, you're going to double what you've got right now. So use the tools that are before you. When you log into your Co-op 50/50, you're going to see a link back there. It says CoopCrowd. Click on that CoopCrowd. It's going to take you to the co-op free site. When you get to that free co-op free site, you're going to see several links there, which is basically like your report card. And it's going to show you what can possibly happen if your entire team was to activate. That's what that co-op free, what those co-op free numbers up there. Now, if you want to get a gauge on, how am I doing? What is my team doing? Then click on a couple of the other links that are there. You can click on my co-op team. When you click on my co-op team, co-op personal team, you got 2 links there. You got the ones that say that you're active and the one that says that they're free. When you click on that one that says that it's active, and to give you an example, if you've got 50 people that have joined you in one capacity or another in co-op, and 25 of those people are active, you can see that those people are active. So the only support that you need to give to those people is by looking. If they have a column that says they have 10 personals and only 1 active, then you want to contact that person and say, hey, listen, what can I do to help you to turn those 9 people that aren't active yet into active members? Then you got the second column. The second column is your free members. Those members are contributing to that number that you see above, your co-op free earnings. Simply pick up the phone and call those people and say, listen, let me help you get active. You're not only doing yourself a great service, but you're doing that particular individual a service. Because if you think of these 3 questions right now, do you need more money than you have right now? Most people are going to answer yes. Do you know 3 or more people that need more money than they have right now? Most people are going to answer yes. Do you have $84 to get started in your very own crowdfunding system right now? Most people are going to answer yes. That's all it takes to move that person from the free column to the paid column. And then when they look at the numbers, you're going to see some spectacular things happen. The other thing that you want to do with your co-op free dashboard right now, which most people aren't doing it yet, and maybe it's because I haven't explained it properly, but in your co-op free dashboard, you have a report card and you have 3 steps. Not all the 3 steps are working at this point, but the most important one is, and that most important one is the fact that you can invite 3 people today. If you invite 3 people today, they get put into that your co-op free matrix right now, and you see the results of what happens when you add 3 people to your co-op free matrix. You can simply turn that to real by picking up the phone, contacting those people and say, hey, let's make it real. So use the tools that are back there. And again, don't be sitting there waiting for something to happen. Make things happen. You've got the tools back there. You've got what I consider to be the greatest system ever created for all of us. Alan just broke it down for you and shows you what can happen if it's 1%. What can happen if it's 5%? What can happen if it's 10%? And I can tell you that those numbers are more than what most people require right now to wake up all their dreams. So use the tools back there and listen to what these guys are saying, because they did a great job. Greg, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Awesome. I mean, what else do we need to say? Let's really just drop the mic. It's really just time to go to work, you guys. And David, once again, thank you for what it is that you do. And the other thing is this: I want you guys to understand, and maybe I shouldn't say this, but I feel it's on my heart to say this. When it comes to everything on the peripheral, when it comes to CoopCrowd, understand we receive 100% in donations. Where do you find that at any other company? Okay, think about that. What, at best, maybe 30, 40%, it's 100% so that we can receive the benefit of this incredible system that he put in place for each and every one of us around the world. So it's up to us to really do our part to lessen any of the support tickets, making sure we're training, making sure we're staying plugged in and stay turned on, taking full responsibility and participating in our own rescue as we're being ushered into a brand new way of living all across the world. So thank you once again for that. And for each and every one of you, as we end every training, every presentation, we're not just going to see you guys at the top. We're going to see each and every one of you over the top. Take care, everybody, and God bless. Thanks again, Alan.